is Dr. Manny St. Victor, back once again with Paul Ramsey, board certified hypnotist. Today's topic is the difference and similarities between stage hypnosis and consulting hypnosis. So, Paul, with that, you want to take us right on in?
Yeah, sure. I think that, well, first of all, one way to look at it is hypnosis is hypnosis, right? So, if you're going to make the argument that they're not that different, then you would focus on the idea that you're creating hypnosis either way, and then it's a question of how do you utilize, and that your utilization would be different, of course. I think if you look at it from that perspective, then really the skill sets that are different between stage hypnotists and consulting hypnotists are sort of the skill sets around the hypnotism. So, for example, when I have a client come to me to do change work, I'm doing an intake interview. I'm asking them to talk about the problem, the challenge, so that I can figure out what their language is around it. I'm doing a lot of assessment, right? And I'm trying to figure out, like, from their language cues, how I might build suggestions that would be helpful to them in creating the change that they desire. If you're a stage hypnotist, you don't need any of that. They're coming to your event, they're choosing to be there, they're choosing to volunteer, so they're sort of entering a social contract with you, and you do your thing, and either it works for them or it doesn't. So there's one example of sort of where the skill sets differ. Now, you flip it over more to the stage side. A skill set that a stage hypnotist needs to have that a consulting hypnotist doesn't need to have is, I would argue, a much higher level of multitasking and awareness.
Okay.
So when I'm on stage, I have to simultaneously, in my head, I have to follow a routine that I've created for getting people into hypnosis, deepening their hypnosis, and right away, as soon as I'm starting, I have to start assessing who's responding out of my volunteer group, who I think is doing better, who looks like they're going to be more on the introverted side, who's going to be more on the extroverted side, and therefore, skit-wise, who would this suggestion fit better, right? You're starting to try to match the nature of a suggestion to what you see in front of you and the people on stage, all the while trying to manage your time, stay on schedule, keep everybody safe, watch where people are, and manage like how they inhabit the physical space. Be a little bit of the master of ceremonies and work the microphone and keep the audience involved. Like, there's a lot of things going on nonstop in my head when I'm doing a stage show. If I'm working with a client, there is some multitasking that's going on, but it's not to the same level. When I'm working with a client, I'm watching body language cues, I'm thinking about what suggestion I'm going to give, and I'm running through a process, but it's not, definitely, in my experience, it's not as busy of a process as the stage hypnotist is going through. So there's some sort of different management skill sets that consulting hypnotists need to have compared to stage hypnotists. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Now, what are some of the differences that you find in the people that come to see you at a stage show compared to those that come to see you for consulting for change work?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, people who come to me at a stage show, the first division I would put in the crowd is they either come to watch or they come to participate.
Okay.
There could be some people that are on the fence. There usually are. But most people have made up their mind when they come. They're either coming to watch or they're coming in the hopes that they might be able to get hypnotized and explore what that's like. When people come to you for change work, they're either, it's kind of the same, they're either coming to you to get the change work done, or they're coming to you to prove to themselves or their partner or their doctor that hypnosis isn't an option. So there are self-sabotaging people who come, and they come, as if they want to get the work done, but really they're coming to weed it out as yet another failed option. Best example of that would be smokers. I turn away probably 2 smokers, maybe 3, for every smoker that I take to do work with, because there's a whole segment of them who really are coming to prove that it's yet another failed. They want to be able to say, look, I've tried everything, and I just can't do it. Because they don't want to quit,
Yeah,
but
somewhere inside.
yeah, they don't want to take full responsibility for that. So they want to say, I tried the patch, I tried the gum, I tried hypnosis. They want to say that they tried it all and none of it worked, so they just have to keep smoking. You get sort of the stage show version of that is you'll get people who will actually volunteer. They're volunteering to prove to themselves that they're too strong-willed to be hypnotized, or to prove to their partner or their friends or whatever. And, and I tell people in my pre-show talk, I say, look, nobody can hypnotize you against your will.
Basically.
Like, if you come up to prove, like, you're wasting your time and my time, I'm telling you right now, no, I can't hypnotize you if you don't want to be hypnotized.
Yeah.
That's not to say I can't hypnotize you without your awareness, which is a different issue, But if we're gonna put it up to flat out choice, awareness and choice, I can't hypnotize anyone who comes in and we're saying this is what we're here for, and you have to choose right now, do you want to be hypnotized or not? If they don't want to be, then they're not gonna be. So you get your yes crowd and your no crowd either way. Now, from there, if you could sort of go deeper into the skill set, when you have a person who really, truly believes that they want to be hypnotized, whether it's in stage or in an office, the next thing is, do they have a healthy expectation of what that will mean for them?
Okay.
So I get a lot. I perform mostly right now for college audiences. I tour nationally on the college circuit. I'll get a lot of college students who are genuinely excited at the idea of being hypnotized, but they're nervous because they don't have a healthy expectation of what that experience will be for them. And so just that bit of nervousness ruins it.
Yeah.
And gets in their way. You get that with clients as well. You get clients who, they do want to quit smoking. They really do. They want their partner to be proud of them. They want their kids to be proud of them. But they don't have, ironically, a healthy expectation of what life as a non-smoker will really be like. And so some people hearing me say that might go, what do you mean? How could they not think that it's healthy? I mean a healthy expectation in terms of they're scared of not having the crutch.
Yeah.
They're scared of what that change really means for them. Even though it would be a healthy change, they don't have a healthy expectation of what that change means for them.
Yep.
So that nervousness gets in their way, and it doesn't work for them.
And that happens with a lot of other conditions. With the smoking, I just want to put in that you have to explain to the person the whole concept of eating the elephant whole, where we're like, okay, if you're going to quit smoking, keep in mind that your body is going to redirect that nervous energy to another activity,
right?
Unless you develop a set of coping skills. And they're like, what? Well, most people when they quit smoking are going to put on weight. Yeah, most people when they quit drinking might, pick up gambling or something. It's about a healthy expectation, like you said, to balance your life and to live kind of a more goal-directed, aligned life.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
Some
And
people,
so, and so here's a crossover. Whether you're a stage hypnotist or a consulting hypnotist, one of the sort of subsets of skills that you have to have is the ability to talk with people about this. You have to be able to talk to either your audience or your client about their perceptions of hypnosis, and we typically do that through what's called a pre-talk, where you bring up the most common myths and misperceptions and you address those. And that's a huge part of the battle. If you want to frame it as like a battle towards success, you really have to have a way to sort of refute the myths and misperceptions, put people at ease, take away their fear, and then give them a reason to really want to go there, a reason to want to have that experience, whether it's to become empowered to create positive change in their life, or if it's just to have a new and novel experience. In the stage setting, it's more, hey, you get to try something that maybe you've never ever done before, and it can be really fun and cool. And then we dangle some other carrots and it's relaxing, and your blood pressure is going to go down, and you're going to feel great. It's a great stress reliever, and we talk about those kinds of things and hope that by taking away the fear-based things, loss of control, a lot of people are afraid of blurting out their deep, dark secrets, all that kind of stuff. And so we address those things, and then you dangle the carrots, and you hope that now they have a healthy expectation of what this experience could be for them, and that they'll be more willing to engage, to be compliant.
cool.
But it's a skill set either way of fashioning, of crafting that talk to people and presenting it in a way that's honest and open, and that really genuinely puts people at ease. You want people to be comfortable. You want people to be optimistic and happy at the potential of what this experience could bring to them. So yeah.
I can't even think of any more good questions.
Yeah, it's not you can get into the real fine. It's not something that I think there's a million questions around, but people do ask me, so that's why I stuck it in the series and said we should at least talk about it a little bit, because people do wonder what the difference is. Hold on, Kevin's got Paul, you have to somehow build trust with these types. Is this something worth your effort, energy to capture another client? I suspect not. Gosh, that's a good question, Kevin. I think it is worth it. I think hypnosis can do a lot of good things for people, and my philosophical approach as a stage hypnotist, since that's where I do most of my work, is I want people to be fascinated and curious about what they see when they come to my stage show, to the point that when they leave, they're more considerate of the idea of going to see a consulting hypnotist. I literally feel like I'm an ambassador for our profession, and I feel like if we can have fun and keep it clean and appropriate and really have people have a good time, that witnessing it in person, because a big part of convincing people that this is a valid practice is really just getting people to witness it firsthand. When people see their partner, their relative, their best friend go up on stage and behave in a way that's not in keeping with the way they think of that person, that's a huge convincer for a lot of people. And so I think if we can do that, if we can provide that experience to people so that they're convinced, and along the way educate them a little bit so that they're not fearful, right? Now they actually are open to the idea that this is a real state in the brain and there's really something here, And if we can do that in a way that doesn't make them fearful, then maybe they'll go and just do something good for themselves. Maybe they'll quit smoking or stop chewing their fingernails or get rid of a fear of flying or a fear of heights or, whatever it is. And then that's why some hypnotists, some consulting hypnotists sort of dog stage hypnotism. And I'm like, why? Like, don't you see that it's a wonderful chance to sort of be the missionaries of hypnosis, to really provide a nice experience for people, a fun, entertaining experience, but one that makes them think more, and that maybe then they'll go find someone at a consulting practice and do it. So I think it's worth trying to convince people and educate people and get that to happen. I think there are people, back to Kevin's comment, there are people that are just too sort of, I don't know, self-indulgent or opinionated, or there are people that I can tell right off, I'm not going to take 15 minutes of my time to try to convince them, because really they just want to argue and they don't want to encounter anything new and they don't want to learn anything. And so I'm pretty good after doing this for a decade at picking out who those folks are and going, okay, like you can, you're welcome to your opinion, and I'm not going to waste my time and yours trying to talk you out of it. So, yeah. Carrie wants to know, how do you hypnotize someone without their knowing it?
Oh, it happens all the time.
Yeah, it happens all the time, right? Yeah, well, that's not an answer, though. It's true that it happens all the time, but it doesn't answer the question. So, we're going to do a video on this, so I don't want to go deep into it, Carrie, but basically, Ericksonian hypnosis, conversational hypnosis, neuro-linguistic programming, which Bandler and Grinder developed from studying Erickson's work. They sort of took it a step further and created their own modality. But it's a combination of a bunch of things, and we'll talk about that in another video that we're going to do on conversational hypnosis. So I'm not going to go into those details, but please tune in with us and follow that, because it is fascinating. It's really, really fascinating. So we're going to talk about that in one of the final videos, I think. Yeah, we can talk about that. We can talk about it tomorrow night, actually. We'll talk about it tomorrow night, and then we'll wrap up after that with ethics, which will be a good thing to do, because since we'll be talking about ways to hypnotize people without their awareness, it'll be nice to follow up with a video on ethics around hypnotism. So yeah. So that's what we'll do. Cool.
Yep.
That's it.
See you tomorrow, same time.
All right. Thanks, Manny.
I'm Dr. Manny St. Victor.
I'm Paul Ramsey.
Good night, y'all.
Bye-bye.